Are we having a party here? I don't know.
Welcome to Polishing Profits. Join our 3 industry experts boasting 140 years of experience as they unlock building service contracting secrets that can revolutionize your business. Well, it's time for another episode of Polishing Profit. And boy, did we polish this episode, let me tell you.
That's such a nice way to put it, man.
Yeah, we were 30 minutes in and didn't record one of us. I won't bore you with the story, but we brought the producer in and they gave us a bunch of information, and the 3 of us old timers finally figured out what it was that we didn't record. So this ought to be just absolutely stellar, because now we're going to have 60 minutes into one recording. Not that anybody cares, but everybody always wants to know what goes on with these things. So there we go. So I've got a strong cup of coffee, and they're probably drinking martinis there in Florida. I'm not sure. Now nobody's going to admit it.
It's time. It's past noon.
It's past noon. Perfect. Sun's past the yard arm, for those of you old enough to know what that is. Welcome to Polishing Profits once again. With that said, Sharon, you want to say hello to the audience before we jump in here?
Welcome.
Ed, 5-gallon bucket Ed in the electronic janitorial closet. Someday we're going to hear that story. We're going to do just one episode on the I know the whole story. I think Sharon does too. So I was kind of around when he started that. With all that said, time management. That's what the next couple, 3 episodes are going to be about. And I would like to get on my soapbox and tell you there's no such thing as managing time. Time will continue on with or without you. We'll continue to talk here, and it'll be 11:02, 11:01, whether we're talking or not. Time doesn't care what you're doing, but your business and your team cares what you're doing. And most of all, you should care what you're doing because you're leading by example. So we don't manage time. We use time. We decide how we're going to use it to get the results that we want to get for that day.
In one sense, we're all doing time.
Yes.
You know, that's the opening for a political conversation, but we're not going to have that.
No.
All right. Saved by the bell. Back to you, Sharon. Thank you, Ed.
I'm worried about a drone strike, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Or I'm always worried about the black helicopters over my house, and the neighbor tells me you have company. But
oh, geez, no, I worry about gators. Nothing so exciting. So one of the things we hear, all 3 of us, often from our clients is, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. And to me, that's a red flag. That says somebody's not allocating the time that they have, the limited time that they have to get all the things done. They're not making that list. So one of the first things I have them do then is keep a log of what they're doing all day and what are they actually doing with their time. It's an eye opener. It's stunning sometimes to see the amount of time owners are spending on things that don't drive business, things that are tasks that managers, supervisors, office administrators, cleaning technicians, those folks can do. And so that frees the manager up or the owner up to spend her time with profit and sales. Now, and Ed alluded to this earlier when we did our previous recording about different stages of your business. So, of course, your role in the company will change as your business grows. In the beginning, you wear all the hats. And so your use of time, rather than the term management, your use of time becomes even more important as a new business owner because you're doing it all.
Ed, what don't you have time to do?
Well, as I said earlier, I think one of the issues here is prioritization. Okay, and an important idea in being able to identify them is understanding the difference between urgent
important.
Important? You're looking for the word important?
Between urgent, the difference between urgent and important. And I got a wonderful illustration for that. Quitting smoking was important for a lot of years. Until one night, I'm standing taking a leak and I can't breathe. I can't inhale or exhale. So all of a sudden, quit smoking became urgent. So what was urgent was also important in this case, but when it was only important, it wasn't urgent.
Right.
So urgent and important, very important key element to understand.
So it didn't get any of your attention until it moved to urgent, when it should have gotten your attention when it was important, when you originally thought.
No, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I feel like I'm drowning. I can't inhale or exhale. It's kind of like, wow. So.
Kind of like when the customer calls first thing in the morning, your day changes.
Mm-hmm.
When they say you got an hour to get here, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Now your day has changed. What?
Or any call requiring us to climb in a dumpster.
Yeah. Dumpster diving, yes.
You threw what?
That should be an Olympic sport, dumpster diving.
Yeah.
We need those files back. Yeah. So we're going on prioritization and how we use our time, how we're applying it. And again, you want to manage things when they're important. You want to be working on them when they're important. We're going to talk about this, I think, in our third little time block of time usage / time management. And we'll talk about the Eisenhower chart. Stephen Covey called it the 4 quadrants. But you've got urgent, important, not important, and how they work together to drive what we do and where we put our time. But it is about, prioritization. And Sharon, I get the same thing with my clients. I know Ed does too. Well, I don't have time. Next question gets to be, all right, what are you doing with the time? The answer usually goes something like this. Well, I get a call, I manage this, I did that. And it's like dots on a scatter diagram.
Mm-hmm.
It has no rhyme or reason. It's just there. And so what did you get out of that? Well, I don't know. All I know is I didn't make my customer calls today because of this. My gosh, that can go on for a week if you have issues. Somebody quits, the key manager goes. I mean, we can go on. All the things that disturb our time and the blocks that we're going to do things.
And remember, that includes all those cute cat videos on YouTube.
Yeah, wasted time on social media.
Scrolling Facebook, scrolling and looking at all the groups. I mean, sometimes I see the frequency with which some people are in these groups, and I'm not on it that much, but they're always on it when I'm in there. And I'm wondering, how are they running how do they know what's going on in their business?
It's really hard because as a group manager, you're constantly chasing out knuckleheads.
Yeah.
There's no choice, So
if you're on the business side, and then I'll get a lot of the, well, I have to keep that tab open. I'm doing business on Facebook. Well, go back, shut the thing off and go back and monitor it if you're doing it. Nobody's going to be angry at you if it's an hour, not a minute when you get back with it. And I'd say the same thing with LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn off and on all day, but I have blocks. I turn it on, I check things, I do it, and I'm off. Because otherwise I'm getting alerts, this happened, that happened, go look at this. Their whole job is to keep us busy on social media. So we're looking at their stuff on their platform, and they can sell better advertising with eyeballs on the advertising.
The key is time on site. That is what they are preoccupied with. How long are you staying on the site? It's the same for all of them. That's how the things are judged.
Yep. So I think from this discussion, just something we want to bring right out that we hear in our advising, in our consulting, is how much time, an easy one, how much time are you putting on social media of any sort? TikTok, I don't care. There's 9 million of these things out there that can all eat our time. So again, we're back to how do you use your time? What is important? Because we can everybody knows how to chase the rabbit with Alice down the hole when you get onto these things. So just kind of a word, there's something you can check really fast. There's a quick takeaway from this. Monitor, if nothing else, your time usage in things like social media. And if you're actually making money or relaxing, nothing wrong with relaxing if that's how you want to take your break. But if it's an interruption to what you're trying to accomplish that day, it's a whole different usage of your time.
Well, they
So,
say it takes 7 to 12 minutes to get back on task when you've been interrupted, when you're working on something. So 7 to 12 minutes. So when you have a situation where your door is open to your office all day and there's a steady stream of people coming in, asking you questions and getting direction from you, that's a tremendous time waster. If you have 10 people coming into your office during the course of a morning, that's about 120 minutes that you've lost by the time that it takes you to get back on task to what you're doing. So a simple process of closing your door for a block of time, whether it's an hour or 2 hours, where you have uninterrupted time to get something done. And that, of course, is working off your priority list so that you know what you're going to work on that morning, and you close the door and you don't get interruptions and you get things done. And I think this goes way back to company organization in terms of having your organizational chart, of having roles clearly defined for the people in your organization. Who is supposed to do what, and holding them accountable for doing that so that it doesn't fall on you. But you have to have that plan in place.
Hey,
Yeah.
it just occurred to me that talking about this issue, it just occurred to me that our clients and our prospects are in the same exact problem.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, gee, I made 15 calls and I couldn't get anybody on the phone. Well, that's because everybody that you called did not want to be interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a concept of interruption marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is a good thing, as you're yelling and screaming about how dreadful your prospects are, this is something to recognize. It's important. Professional people that get stuff done understand time management and are managing time well.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
They control it.
Yep. And managing time well or usage, we started a bit about this again when we did this the first time prior to this one. One thing that I have done over the past, and I can't believe I've been doing this 10 years already, is when we can't identify time usage, we'll use something. I'll put everybody on what I call a time diet. And I have no idea where I found that, but what it is I'll work with my client and we'll go out to a site called Toggl, Toggl. It's a time management site that makes it very easy to clock your time. It's right on your computer. It comes up in the corner and you can I basically take the blocks, management, selling, operations, marketing, complaints, whatever, customer time. And you get about 4 areas and you just take big blocks and you manage yourself. And as you do work, it shows you what you're doing. If a customer call comes in, you just turn it off, you hit that next button, and it tracks it for you. Very, very informative and a lot of revelations when you look at the things that you probably could have. Now, a customer call may be a little different. That you should have used your time differently in saying no. Or to Sharon's point, do you have a DND, do not disturb, hour or 2 that you work on the things that are important, not urgent? In other words, you're not up at 4 o'clock in the morning, not able to breathe and think, geez, I better do something about this. It just moved in its category. So, Toggl is it's an easy system to use. It is free. It's a freemium. And I would suggest if you don't know, go out there and play a little game with yourself. You need about a month's worth of information to make sure you have enough that's statistically valid of how you're using and the decisions you're making. And you'll find that it's very informative and you'll change a lot of habits and reevaluate your use of time. And guess what? This works for your direct reports and their direct reports. if people aren't getting the results and using the time to the best value of themselves and the company. So that's my part of it. Sharon, you want to run us up to the next topic here?
The time usage is really all about control. And when we lose sight of that, we really are kind of in a free fall. We're just not sure. We're all over the board. We're putting out fires. And some of the things that we need to look at are what's causing the fires and what's causing the repeated disruptions to our main goal and our main focus. Distinguishing between busy work and productive work. And productive work should be the main priority for a business owner. Busy work in the early years of your business is going to be important and something you have to do. That's just no way around it, because you don't have the revenue, you don't have the staff, you don't have the need at that particular moment to be able to delegate. So, but distinguishing as you grow, what's busy work, something that you did from day one on year 2 or 3 of your business, you're not going to be doing that. Somebody else needs to be doing that. So
why do you need to deliver that case of glass cleaner?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we get into Ed, you want to speak a little bit? You said, why do you need to do that? Now we're talking about prioritizing our time usage, and are we putting it where we're going to get the most bang for our time or our dollar? Time's money, let's face it. I know that's an old saying, but you got to spend both of them. But time is money. So prioritize.
It is tied to our goals. Okay. So, we're talking about our professional lives when that's not really our whole life. All right. There's family time with kids. Like I always like to say, always remember to take time to smell your kids. So
hopefully they smell better. Hopefully they don't. If they smell better than the roses that they used to.
Yeah, well, the little ones don't smell good. So, but understanding your priorities is critical to managing your time.
And I think this discussion, if our listening audience doesn't take anything out of this first episode on time, it requires some introspection. And do you take a look at it? Are you using it to meet your priorities? Are you using it to work on achieving your goals and helping others achieve goals? And we'll dig a little more into this, but delegation, when your company is at that point, you get your first supervisor or foreman or whatever, you are now in the business of delegating and helping somebody else use their time effectively. We won't get into training. That's a whole nother issue. But you as the leader and you can't lead them any better than what you're producing yourself. So if you don't understand the concept of time usage, then how are you going to transfer or transmit that information and encourage and coach somebody else to be able to do it? So if nothing else, take a look at your time as we're getting ready to wrap this particular segment up. We want to get you on a conscious level of what and where your time's going and what is it producing for you and how you can get more. Just think if you got time back from doing the busy, not the productive, and made more sales calls, saw more customers, spent more time and engaged more with your management or whatever level it is, you'd have a different organization and it'd be moving in a much more productive direction. And we're talking here from 140 years of wasting a whole lot of time, believe me. We've probably wasted as much time as we've been in the business as we actually did something, just wasting time.
I'm not sure, seeing every single episode of Law and Order rates as a major accomplishment. So
that doesn't go on the time diet. You don't put that on the time diet.
No, you only get that privilege after you sell your company and you have more time to waste. Not just
Yeah.
And you get the biggest check you've ever seen in your life.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, sir. You do.
Yeah.
I think with that, I'm going to put a cap on this, and we're going to come back with our scrub down in just a moment. So that's what we've got for you today. Time consciousness, where's it going? What's it producing for you? Take a look at it, and then we're going to talk about better ways to get more out of that time for yourself and your people and your organization.
Yeah.
The Scrub Down, a recap of what was covered on today's episode.
Welcome to the Scrub Down. We're going to give you what we think are the key insights or key takeaways. You may have something different. Hey, if you do, put it down in the comments. We would love to hear from anybody, everybody, somebody, anyone, anything. I don't know. Subscribe. I always forget to tell everybody to subscribe to one of our platforms. So we're on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, all the great places that you find your favorite artists. Hopefully will become one of them. So key points. Mr. Ed down there on my right, probably your left. I don't know. There's something about a mirror image. I forget all that stuff.
Oh no, no, no! I'm never on the left, buddy.
No.
So
Oh,
He's
geez.
on the right. He's on my
I
right.
started another political conversation. Ed, please, your point for time usage.
you know, to me, the main thing had to do with prioritization. You know, there's an awful lot of busy stuff that you can do. And if you're not prioritizing, you're doing the wrong stuff. You're doing the wrong stuff because you can't, all you're doing is you're responding to what's happening around you. You're not controlling what's happening around you. You're just responding. And if that's ruining your priorities, you got to stop.
Great. Sharon.
I would say that this whole topic has to do with you being a slave to your business. So you really want to stop being a slave to your business. And if you find yourself repeating the phrase, I don't have time, I'm too busy, and you're doing this often, that's a red flag for you that we need to take a look at some of the ways you're using your time. You're not prioritizing. You're working on busy things rather than productive things.
Yeah, definitely. And that's
Exactly.
we're going to talk about that in the time quadrants in one of our short episodes here. Something to look forward to. I'm going to go back to my beginning story that I think a mind shift or a shift in your thinking, nobody manages time. You don't have any control of it. We all get 24 hours in a day, and that's it. You can't bank it. You can't save it. You can't really invest it in tomorrow's time because today's time is gone. So once you understand that you really don't manage time, what you manage is yourself and the usage of that time and what gets done. So as I said in the earlier one, what you have done tomorrow is what you focused on today. Tomorrow is always a direct result of how you used your time and how you helped others in your organization use their time. So when you wake up tomorrow and you look at the day, what you have is based on all the days before that. And that's really understanding time. So what you have, and the only place we have is the present. That's it. We can look back at the past, we can hope for the future, but the only thing we can control is what we do in this particular time and moment. With that, I'll say thank you for joining us on Polishing Profits, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Adios.